What's up, guys? Today we're going to discuss lights and which ones I like and why. I'll show you what I like about them and what I don't like about them. And we'll discuss what each light does and its specific job. So let's shine a light on this subject and get started. You guys, come on. All right, guys, as you see, I have a large variety and differences in brands and type lights here on the table, and also the one here behind me. I'll discuss which ones we use and why we like each light, and I will tell you why we like it and some of the things we don't like about it. So let's start off by my very favorite light. If I lost it today, I would have another one before I went to bed tonight, and that is the Streamlight Stylus Pro USB. I've had the generation prior to this that was the 90 lumens, and it was a great light. Then they come out with this one so they could drag a little more money out of your pocket. The reason why I decided to upgrade is because of the double click feature. One click and it's regular power, and 2 clicks and it's like 250 lumens or whatever. I do like that about that light. So that is my most favorite, most ultimate of all the lights that I have. The next favorite light that I have is actually the OEM light. I've had this light for a very long time. This light has been a great light. The reason why I prefer this light over a lot of the other ones is I like to work with both hands. I'm not a headlight type guy. I'm not a neck light type guy. I just like light to shine where I need it. It's got 4 magnets on the back, and they are super, super strong. They'll hold this light. It's got 8,800 milliamps of battery in it. And another thing I like about it, when you got the light on, it will turn yellow around this ring, and that indicates that your battery is going dead. I cannot stand to be working and the light go off and I'm shut out in the dark, because that sucks and I just don't like that. So I do like the fact that they have the battery indicator on it. The negatives of this light is, if it's here, you're still getting feedback from it in your eyes, and at times it can blind you depending on what you're working on. I really like this light for working under dash work. It's great for working under the hood, you know, stuff like that. I prefer the fluorescent type light as any other light. That is the negative that I have with that light. Since we're talking about the fluorescent style, this light, I have it, Bill has it, and Wally has it, and we use these lights all the time. I put the battery magnet that snaps on it on the back so you can hang it in any direction. It's the Snap-on 14.4 battery pack that powers it. It's a good light. I like the light. The negative that I have, I do wish that they had a better magnet system on it. I have a battery magnet that you can put on there. And while we're talking about batteries and magnets, let me show you guys a little trick real quick. I put tape over most of my batteries. The reason, I put tape over my magnets. The reason why is because when they get cruddy and funky, you can just rip the tape off and you got a brand new clean magnet. Everybody knows it's a pain in the buttocks to scrape drill bit shavings or rust particles or anything else that gets stuck to a magnet. It's always aggravating. Throw you some masking tape or some duct tape on there, peel your magnets off, and you got a brand new magnet. But back to this light. I do wish that there was a better magnetic system to use this light, because I definitely like it. But it kind of sucks as far as using it with magnets, because there's really not a great way to ever hang that where it's not in the way. One of my next favorite lights, and I have like 5 of these total. I'm a fan of these lights, and one of the reasons I don't use them as much at work as I do outside of work. This kind of does the job of 2 lights. The one that shoots out the end works like a regular flashlight, like this one, but you can also open it up and you've got the thin blade, like this one. I do like this light. It charges USB-C. Here's the negatives with it. It does have a USB-C. Of course, everything's kind of migrating to that charging system, but everybody's got micro USBs laying around. USBs are USB-Cs are kind of a little more slim. I do not like the fact that there's no way to put a magnet on this thing other than the one that's on the bottom. It's a strong magnet, but if you're working somewhere, there's no way to hang it, there's no way to hook it, there's no way to magnet to anything unless it's straight on the bottom. That's my negative with that. And the other negative, they are extremely expensive for what they are. I bought these as a kit from Snap-on. They come with a magnetic wireless charging pad, so you can just stick it on the side of your toolbox, and these will suck right up to it, they'll magnet to it, and they'll charge. I love the wireless charging feature. I think that's the greatest thing ever, because I know for me personally, I remember to charge my lights when the darn things don't come on. When they left me stranded in the dark, that's when I realized, hey, I should have charged my lights. With a wireless charging pad, when I get through with it, after I clean it up, I just set it on the charging pad and it's always ready to go. I did buy them as a set from Snap-on, and I thought this light right here would be a piece of junk. I thought I would never use this light because this is the whole reason why I purchased it. But after owning it, I do like it. It's just a standard LED type flashlight, and it's bright. You can dim it. I'm not much of a dimmable guy. I like them to run full blast. If they burn your corneas or your retinas, that's even better. But I didn't think I'd use the light. I ended up using this light about as much as I do this one. I'm actually a fan of this set. Of course, this one's got a magnet on the bottom, and you can adjust it and tilt it in almost any direction that you want to go. And like I say, it does dim down if you're one of the guys that likes to run your light on low. Not me. I want it as hot and heavy as she'll go. But I love the set. This is a great set. Now for the negatives. They could have put a hook on here. It wouldn't have cost much money to throw a hook on here. If you're working on a Peterbilt, it's hard to find anything as metal to stick it to. If you're working on a Ford that's all aluminum, you need hooks. Snap-on put some hooks on these lights and you'll have the perfect set of lights. And that way everybody won't have to buy 65 different lights. This is another cool light. It is a Snap-on and it runs off the 14.4 platform. I do have a battery magnet on the bottom. You can see the tape there, and it's got a magnet on the back. I like this light. It works good. You can tilt it up. Now this is a light that I prefer if we're going to work under a truck, doing U-joints, clutches, brakes, airbags. This is kind of the light that I grab on that. I like the way that you can turn it at any angle because it won't roll because it's octagon shape and it's bright. I don't know. I wish they would have made a way that you could have hooked or hung this one as well. That way you get more use out of it. I do like it. It does have a light on the top that will tell you when your battery is going dead. As you might can see that there. It's orange. But the power switch is on the front of the light on the bottom. There's not a whole lot of negatives other than I wish you could have some way that you could hang it. The next light I actually purchased at Napa. It's kind of like this light. It's good for using in multiple situations on the ground. It's not as great for hanging. It does have some magnets on this side that's strong, and you can lock the light in any position, or if you're working on a non-magnetic surface, this works as a kickstand, and you can kind of turn it any way you want to go. It does have a tripod mount there, as you can see, but you can also take a bungee cord hook if you got an old bungee cord and run it through there and hook it to work, like on the hood opener, because I figured that out because they're too dumb to put a hook on there, and I figured out a way to make a hook work. Great light. It's got a battery indicator on the back. It's really bright. It has a really wide cast beam on it. As you can see, that's low. That's medium for half quitters, and that's full blast. That's where we run it. As you can see, it's got a really wide pattern. This thing is great for doing wheel seals, crap like that, where you need to see kind of from the bottom up. I do wish they'd have some way to put a hook on it. Another great feature on it, if you open the battery door, it has a USB port built in, and you can charge your cell phone from this. Like I said, I picked it up at Napa. It's called Light and Carry. Super awesome light. I like it. It's kind of cool that you can charge your batteries. The predecessor, maybe it's not predecessor. The one before, this one's daddy is what started my light addiction. You know, the ones I'm talking about, the plastic body snap-on lights. That was kind of my first snap-on light that I kind of fell in love with. I've got a couple of them in different places scattered around. But this is the newer one, the aluminum body. It's a great light. I like it. It's bright. You can dim it if you're a quitter. But anyway, the negatives of this light, it is USB-C. Once again, they're not laying everywhere like the micro USB. And it don't have a hook. It's got a strong magnet, but if you're working on a Peterbilt or something, you're going to catch yourself doing this number right here or trying to prop it up because there's nothing magnetic to work on. And there you go, tying up one of your hands that are valuable, because if you tie up this one, you lost 50% of your workload. That's how I look at it. The next light that I love is the Capri. This light is, it's one of my favorite work lights, especially if I'm having to get down in somewhere to work on something. If you're changing an alternator, a starter, a water pump, thermostat housing, whatever, this is the light to have. If you're doing AC work, especially on big trucks, you can stick this bad boy up in them little tight spots. You can see all the little O-rings, or if you're doing orifice tubes, whatever, it's great. I do like the fact, now this is one case that I do say that you need a dimmable light, and a lot of times you're going to have to put this light in somewhere and it's going to be shining back in your vision. This type light is what I say you do need a dimmable one, because you can dim it down where it's not blinding you as bad. Of course, they're all going to blind you, shining your eyes, but at least you can see what you're working on and you can dim it down. Another cool feature with this light, with a flick of a switch, you've got UV. I love having a good UV light. Here's a prime example. You can see how it looks on this orange here and on the battery here. Great for finding AC leaks, all that kind of stuff. I'm a fan of this light. Micro USB charging. Magnet on the bottom, you can tighten up and it'll hold in whatever angle you're wanting on. It's got a hook here. It's got a hook here. So you can hang it from this end, or you can hang it from both ends, or you can hang it from this end. Whatever floats your boat, this bad boy will work in that situation. Another great feature, it's got a magnet on the end. You drop a bolt or a nut down in somewhere, you can reach in there, see what you're doing, and still get it back. Fantastic feature. I love this light. The only negative that I have with this light at all is, honestly, the battery life. It works decent enough to use in a shop, but I don't charge my lights like most people do by putting them on a charger after they get through with them. I charge my lights usually at the end of the day, or even a couple of days depending on how long I use it. This light will run all day long at a normal job working, and you shouldn't have any issues with it. But I do wish it had a little bit longer battery life. I think they can improve that. But other than that, that is almost the perfect light. Talking about UV lights and UV settings and stuff like that, I'm still a fan of the old school type flashlight. This is the regular snap-on that's got the white light. Runs off the 14.4 batteries. I like this style light. I don't know why. I like the fact I can set it down, I can angle it, whatever. I just like this light. This one's the regular one. This one's the UV. We discussed UV functions a while ago with this, and let me show you this one. This one is like a UV light on steroids. Like, this was Arnold Schwarzenegger back in his prime, and you can see how bright it is. This thing can find an AC leak almost on the moon. It is amazingly bright, as you can see. I don't know of any other UV lights that's that bright. This part number on this one is a CT LUV 761. find your Snap-on dealer, buy this light, and you will thank me later when you're looking for an AC leak or any kind of leak that you can put dye in. This bad boy right here, when you shine it in an engine bay, it lights up the entire thing. You will find the leak with this. It will jump out and scream, hey, here I am. Well worth the money. This is probably the most valuable light on the Snap-on truck today. The next light, almost everybody's got one of these or have used one of these in the past. It's the Stremlight. This one is a Stinger LED HL. Extremely bright light. Very, very bright light. We use this one in the service truck. It's got a piggyback charger with another battery, and that way you can always have an extra. This is my negatives, and it's kind of nitpicking when it comes to this, but it is what it is. It's plenty bright enough. I like the fact that if I run the battery down, I can swap it out. The negative is if you're working, sometimes it ain't shining where you want it to shine. There ain't no magnet, there ain't no hook. It is what it is. You've got a one-handed flashlight. The other negative I have, and I cannot stand this with a flashlight, is the battery rattle. It's just a pet peeve, my OCD, I don't like it. That's the negatives that I have with this, other than it's extremely expensive. This thing is very, very expensive for what it is, and if you leave one laying on the side of the Highway 45, you're going to be upset when the truck comes back in and your light's not there. But nevertheless, it is what it is. Let me talk about this light before we get to the last one. I was looking for a light that we could use on the service truck. If we're on the side of the highway, we're needing to work on wheel seals, airbags, electrical work, whatever. A lot of times you need a light that can stand independently, needs to be rechargeable, needs to be bright. This light is great. It's got a big telescopic base on it, and it's adjustable. It's fully adjustable. You can make it any height you want. You can make the base as narrow or as wide as you want. And another cool thing, if you're using it in a shop setting, it's got the hooks here so you can wrap a cord around it and it'll work plugged in. This light I picked up at Napa. It's called an Optic light. The part number is 782-7115. It is a 10-watt cob LED. It has, I think it's 3 clicks. It's low, high, and off, if I'm not mistaken. The head articulates in any direction you want. You even can flip it all the way over if that's what you choose. You can turn this knob here and actually twist the whole head unit. I wanted this light. I'd looked at the Milwaukee, but honestly, I didn't want to put another charger in the service truck because we've got a Snap-on charger and I've got the Carlisle charger. I'm limited on how much room that I had in the service truck with a power supply. So I decided to go with this light because it does have a way to charge it by cigarette lighter. But it's 1 click. I think that's low. No, that's the first one was high. This one's low. But you can see it's really wide area that it shoots out. And if you need it to work down low, super simple, twist 2 knobs and she'll get down there about knee high. But this was a pretty expensive light. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but I thought it was worth the money. I like the design of it. I like the tripod. I like the way you can two or 3 knobs and it folds up really small to throw in the toolbox or the back seat of the service truck. So I do recommend that light, by the way. Battery life's really good on it. And the last one of the lights that I have to show you guys today is by Illuminator. I actually did a video on these. They're really cool. I'll try to put a tag card up at the top where you guys can check it out. But the way these work is it is a mat that you can fold out. This one's the small one. They actually got a larger one and it's about this wide by about, I don't know, maybe that long. It's really big. It's about twice the size of your standard creepers. And they're made to lay on. They've got padding inside. It's chemical resistant. They're waterproof. and they have light strips. You can fold them, it won't hurt them. You can lay on top of them. We've done it here at the shop with a large mat. But what's cool is it comes with a battery adapter clip, so you can clip it to your battery. It's got a plug-in, you can plug it in the wall, or it's got a cigarette lighter plug-in. And what's cool about this, like I say, this one's the small, but the large is a lot bigger. They've got grommets, and you can hook these little bendable strap thingies through the grommets and wrap it to make a full under hood light. Like it'll cover the whole underside of the hood. Or if you're working on your car, you can throw it on the ground, you got it plugged up, you can lay on it, change your oil, starters, whatever you want to do. It's a great light. They're extremely durable. We was kind of questioning how well they'd work rolling around on them in the shop floor with the grit and the grime and all that. They clean up super easy. They're really, really bright, and you don't have to worry about having a light beside you or moving it here, moving it there. If you've got the big one and you're laying on it, everything around you's illuminated, which, well, they went with the name Illuminator. But they are great lights. I think they're only available, as far as I know, online right now, and they are well worth the money. They come in a little storage bag, so you can keep up with it. The only negative that I have with them is you do have a cord attached to it, which we've kind of learned a trick. If you're working on the rear of a vehicle, turn it, the plug where it sticks out towards the front, and you kind of run it underneath the front of the car and up to the battery or up through the window. You know, don't leave it on the back corner like we used to when we first started, where you're having to step over it and get in every time. But you should use your brain when you install it or go to lay on it, and you won't have near much trouble. Anyway, guys, I hope I didn't bore you too bad with my light fetish, as some people say that I have, but I think it's important to have a work light, because if you can't see, you can't work. If you can't work, you ain't making no money. So spend the money, buy a good light, and keep working. Thanks, guys. I appreciate each one of y'all watching. Be sure to check down in the description. We have some cool tools and discount codes available for you guys to help save some money. Like always, if you liked the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up and click that subscribe button. It's totally free. It don't cost you a dime. You guys have a great week, and we will catch y'all next time. See ya.